Good morning, everybody. Oops. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness with David McDonald, the GOAT. And we are back for day 107 of 365. Good morning, Liz. Good morning, Lee. Good to see you. Good to see you. All righty. Let's get to the business. All righty, my friends. I will see you on the other side. Alrighty. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning, cuz. How's it going? Good morning, Marcus. Good to see you, my brother. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into our reading routine. I'm reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. In the last 100 days, we've finished 3 books. So we have 3 books in our library and 1 journal. I'll mark our timer for 15 minutes, and I'll see you all on the other side. Beautiful. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into our journaling routine next. And in our journaling routine, if you're joining us for the first time, is I usually start by writing about what I'm most grateful for. And for me, in the mornings, it's waking up and having exceptional health. And then I just continue on writing about my successes and or shortcomings that I had yesterday. And then within that, I write about what I wanted my reality to be like, what it was like, and what I wanted it to be like, and then how how it could have been different. I write those observations. I write about what my goals are for the day, for the week. There's a number of things you can write about, but if you need help with that, just feel free to reach out to me. And in the meantime, I'll see you all in 15 minutes. Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. I chuckle or I laugh because we're writing our own destinies every morning. Key takeaways from the book today that the anticipation is kind of killing me just a little bit. The author continues. He's persistent. He's resilient in telling us, oh, we're getting ready for the 13 principles. We're getting ready for the 13 principles to tell you on how to be rich, or how to achieve your dream, manifest your dreams. But he hasn't gotten to it yet in like 3-4 pages. But I like this idea. I like this fact. That the power within, or the power to create, lies within you. You are the truest greatness. That's my words. This book continues to say that all of the answers can be found through your own mind, and that's where the power is pretty much reciprocated back to you, from me to you, and a lot of other universal laws that exist. So when you begin to think and grow rich, you will observe that riches begin with a state of mind, with definiteness of purpose, with little or no hard work. You and every other person ought to be interested in knowing how to acquire that state of mind, which will attract riches. In this book, this is important because for those who are not reading the book but are going to be following along with us during our daily discussion, this book, this book was written on the basis of the author spending 25 years in research, analyzing more than 25,000 people, because I wanted to know how wealthy men become that way. Without the research, this book wouldn't have been written. So the evidence and the support in this book is from 25,000 people. So that's a pretty strong study, in my opinion. Success comes to those who become success conscious. Failure comes to those who indifferently allow themselves to become failure conscious. The object of this book is to help all who seek it to learn the art of changing their minds from failure consciousness to success consciousness. So what's so amazing to me is this book was written so long ago, and still those the universal facts that exist or that are talked about today are still ever so prevalent, and very relevant to our time today. That just goes to show that, like I said, the facts or truths that are continuously repeated resonate with you in a certain way. And I feel like this book is a really good depiction of how that, spans over a course of years and over the course of time. The definition or the idea of the how, they did a really good job using Henry Ford as an example. So Henry Ford was one of the first people to create a 8-cylinder block engine, which is a V8 to a lot of people out there who may not know what that is, but it's a V8 engine, one that's found in so many cars, different brands, etc. And he starts to begin the story by saying how easy it was for Napoleon. He did say easy early on, and I think, ironically, it's very easy to think and grow rich. However, from our example yesterday with the ferry blessing, we had thought ourselves into a place of making it on the ferry, but had we not executed on the opportunity, we would have not have made the ferry. So I remember there was one time in my life where I'd wake up when I was doing real estate in the beginning, and I would just get up. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to think myself to success. And I would lay on the floor for like 3 hours and not do anything, and just pretty much meditate, sleep, meditate, sleep, meditate. And I did that for like a week, and I was like, I think I need to do some actual execution somewhere. So that didn't work for too long. So, but at the same time, I think that idea of team no sleep and all that crap that people talk about, I don't think it's necessary to be that extreme. To work hard and grind and execute accurately, and to continuously have that determination, totally different story. I definitely think that that's, something to keep in mind. But for the most part, it does take work. And for me, I can say that work is constantly making sure that my frame of mind, my state of mind, the artfulness and how I'm shaping my mind, is continuous on a daily basis. And that's through everything I experience. And so I think it does take a little bit of work, but over time, it becomes a natural habit or a natural reaction. And then at that point, you can say that you've reached a spiritual liability of, of happiness or what have you. But he talks about Henry Ford and how easy it was, and the simple principle that allowed him to achieve and pretty much, make millions and be very successful. And it all started with the idea that the impossible was not achievable. And he wanted to build this 8-cylinder engine in one single block, and it had never been done before. And so he was talking to his engineers, and his engineers said, hey, we're not gonna be able to do this. It's impossible. You cannot put 8 cylinders on one block. We've only known it to be 4 or 6 or whatever it may have been. And then Henry Ford said, I don't care what you have to say about it. You guys working for me, I want you guys to go ahead and make that engine block. So 6 months went by. They couldn't figure out a solution. They weren't able to make this block, this 8-cylinder block. And then another 6 months, Henry checks in with his team, and he says, hey, what's going on, you guys? Like, we need to develop and, create this engine that I'm talking about. And the engineers was like, man, this is impossible. We're not able to do it. Another 6 months goes by. Henry checks in with them again. They still haven't figured out a way to make this thing work. And then, of course, finally, they figure out a way to make it work, and now we have V8 engines, right? So they haven't described what they're getting ready. The book is getting ready to go into the 3 principles that he used to really get himself to that point. But I think just from the outside looking in, I can almost bet $10 that it's because of his persistence. It's because of his desire. He didn't have to figure out what the why was. He just needed the right people in place to think about how to achieve this goal, right? So his lead and lag measure would be, developing this 8 cylinder block engine, which is his lag. And then his lead measure was getting people who know engines and know engineering to help facilitate that. And then consistently check in with them as their scoreboard of their compelling scoreboard. And then the cadence of accountability was every 6 months. So he used the disciplines of execution to a degree also. I don't know how he used the scoreboard so much, but the cadence of accountability and the first two principles he definitely used. So I think that, there is really truly nothing that's impossible, but it's just a matter of how much are you willing to dream. Another thing that the book talked about is a lot of people who have failure or loser mentality. The reason why they have failure or loser mentality is because they allow their limitations to be the standard of limitations of all things and all beings and all people. And that's pathetic. Pause. And that's limiting you, yourself, and everything else and everyone else around you. Yes, your limitations may be X, but everything can be improved at all times, no matter which way you turn it, which way. And if you choose not to believe that, that's totally on you, right? Then that's okay. No judgment either way. But the limitations that you may experience can only be superseded by limitations that you said that are higher. Or when you look at the limitations, or the things that you can achieve over a period of time, it's very important never to compare yourself to other people. That's one thing that's really big. Never compare yourself to other people. I was talking to, or what was I doing? I was listening to something where it was like, I think I may have spoken about this too on one of our daily journeys. And it was like, how can I compare myself to a 50-year-old man who has seen so much more life than me, than who has achieved so much and has so much more, maybe not necessarily more experience, but has more life experience, let's say, and who has achieved all these level of things. I can't compare myself to him because in 25 years, for me to even go down the path of, how much money does he have? How much money does she have? How much money do they have? All that crap. I don't really care. At the end of the day, I know my goal, let's say to be by 40, is to be half a billionaire, right? So you say, okay, I'm going to be half a billionaire by 40. Like, that's my dream. And so it's like, all right, well, what does that look like for you? And I can't compare myself at the age that I am today to somebody who's 50 because there's a huge gap there. And even somebody else who's 20, who's in their 20s or in their 30s or what have you, like, I can't compare myself to them either because first off, I don't really care about what you have. That's the first thing, because that's not really what's going to, in my opinion, like when we have that conversation or that intellectual conversation, when we talk about how we're changing the world, none of that really is going to matter for the sake of like constructive conversation, how much money you have, how much things you have, this, that, and the other. And so my point is as you're setting, goals for yourself, to never be held back by your restrictive limitations of how much you think you can do and how much you think you can achieve is going to be really important to achieving and thinking and growing rich. Because like I said, I may not have said it, but in the conversations that I've had, we are the generation, you, the person on the other side of this camera in this journey with me today, this morning, are rewriting your family's DNA. You are rewriting the history and the script for your family. Even if you come from a family with a lot of money or with successful business, even if you come from a family that's never had any money and is poverty stricken, even still to this day, and hasn't evolved out of that mental state or out of that position, you are rewriting your DNA. I am rewriting my family's DNA. And that is the thing that's going to carry us over the next decades of making impression on the world, of changing the world and influencing the world in a direction and in a way that's going to positively influence more generations to come after us. And I think that the biggest thing with that is not allowing your limited mindset, your limitations, your mind to be so closed to the fact that you can't exceed past anything that you're experiencing right now in your reality, because indeed you can. And this book is I already know it's going to hit us over the head so hard to say, hey, like, wake up, open your mind, be great every single day. Even when you fall short, you're still great and exceed your expectations on the daily. And so with that, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on the journey to greatness. with David McDonald, the GOAT, 107 of 365. And I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm about to go to the gym and work out and kick my own butt. Oh, fun fact. So we're getting into low carb diet today. And the low carb diet is going to be another journey just to add to the balance and the sharpening and the building of our mind, soul, and spirit. And so essentially it's going to be no rice, no bread, no sugar, except for 1 scoop of peanut butter in the morning. So I got to have that with my oatmeal. And we're going to get down to the nitty gritty so we can really start pulling in and really start embracing and like figuring out and understanding, mentally feeling the energy of our functions, of our muscles, the energy that goes through our calves, the energy that goes through our feet, through our hands, through our fingertips, the air that brushes through the hair on our hands. Well, I got hair on my hands. You may not have hair on your hands, but the hair on our heads, you know, the energy that's flowing through us, really, really to start channeling that stuff to a pure state of just feeling, where we can be so in tune with ourselves, not only with these powerful tools that we are exercising on a daily basis, but also through our diet. And so now it's time to take it to that next level, like I was briefly mentioning. And today is the first day that we're going to start that. You get 1 cheat day a week. That diet is based around the 4-hour work week. I haven't done too much research on it, but I know some of the simplicities of what you can and can't have. And so it's going to be chicken, beef, salad, peanuts like macadamia, not walnut. What else? Protein shakes, green beans, avocado. Like I said, no fruits, no sugar, and I like gummy bears a lot. Haribo gummy bears and Black Forest gummy bears from Fred Meyer. What else? Let me see. Oatmeals to eat. I already said fish. And that's so cauliflower. You know, cauliflower is gonna be my substitute or our substitute for rice. So it's gonna be a pretty lean diet, but it's gonna be amazing. And so I might take a before picture because I'm also starting this other anyway. So that diet, I'll post some things on the Journey to Greatness page if you guys want to follow it. And again, it's just, you know, test of time. Like, how can we push our bodies as we grow older? As we grow older as people, it's going to be really, really important for us to pay attention to how we're treating our bodies. And for me, it's a huge wake-up call because I say, oh, I'm never going to get old. I'm never going to get old. And I start feeling my knee need some, you know, WD-40. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Oh, man. I can't. No. So we got to start now. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 a.m. And today's workout should be awesome. See ya.